Smith.
Info.
I'm Ruan Willow from the Oh Fuck Yeah with Ruan Willow podcast on apps and
Love
on
her voice.
YouTube, Ruan Willow
Love.
podcaster. And I am wondering, I found this question on Reddit and I was wondering if you had an answer. Are we ready? I have this for you from the relationship advice on Reddit by you throw RA Anonymous. Fiance, 29, male, is not interested in being intimate with me, 24, female, after I give birth to our child. He says that he just can't see me the same. Apparently now that I have become a mother, his view of me completely changed. Is this some Madonna W complex psychology thing or what? Anyways, in all honesty, it's been taking a serious toll on my mental health, and I can't even talk about it or share it with my friends or family, mother, sisters, cousins, because it's genuinely humiliating. I also know it's something they didn't experience, and they'd probably tell me to just leave him, which isn't what I want. I love him. Our wedding is scheduled to happen this year and settled for, and our child is 6 months old. Yeah, we went through 6 months without having sex. As if having a child for the first time isn't exhausting as it is, I also had to carry the weight of my relationship being in crisis and feeling absolutely terrible and undesirable. Our sex life prior to me giving birth was the healthiest. It took a 180-degree turn and change afterwards. Even during my pregnancy, it wasn't bad. I know this isn't something usual. Men don't just lose interest in their partners after they give birth. Obviously, it's some psychological thing for my fiancé here. And I know what you might be thinking, that perhaps it's on me, and I haven't took good care of myself after pregnancy and neglected my appearance. But that's not the case at all. I got back to the weight I was at before giving birth very fast. I take care of myself and how I look daily. Hair done, nails done, dress nice. To add, everything else between us is the same. We have smooth conversations. He gives me compliments, kisses me, treats me well, just refuses to be intimate with me. It's like he's holding me on a pedestal and can't acknowledge that I'm a sexual being anymore just because I became a mother. I'm looking for a way to solve the problem. It's causing a dilemma in our relationship, and I can't imagine spending a lifetime sexually repressed. Counseling is a must. We've already talked about it, and we are going to go through it. I just can't help but believe I need to do something else prior to that. And I'm honestly thinking that an open relationship where we'd both see other people for a while might drastically help us. It would for sure shatter the false illusion he has of me in his head. Any advice would be appreciated, and I'd also really like to know if there's anyone out here who experienced something similar.
Wow, there's a lot to digest there, and it took a turn at the end. And I'm going to start off by saying this: swinging doesn't fix relationships. It never will. Adding other people can be exciting. It can mix things up. It can be a spice, but it's not going to fix something that's broken. And right now, he's broken. She mentioned that she didn't there's a lot here. The fact that she didn't want to talk to her friends or family about it and then assuming that they've never went through this is misleading. If you're not talking to people about these things, how do you know what they've been through? You haven't opened those conversation gates. You haven't mixed the information up. You haven't heard. And they can go ahead and say leave him if they want, but you don't have to follow their advice. But they might have went through it. They might have a best friend that went through it. They might have insight that you don't know about that you should get. These are your friends. These are people you love. You should be able to talk about everything with them. It's not, the other problem is it's not embarrassing. You're not the person who has the problem. And I also don't think you should spread his medical or psychological or whatever issues he's having around. But if you need support, yes, you should reach out to people for support. That's why you have friends. That's what community is about, to reach out to people for the support you need to the understanding. Because right now you're kind of laying it on you. Even if you hadn't lost weight, there's no excuse. There's nothing that you did wrong. You've given birth. Your body's going to change no matter what. And I don't, if you hadn't lost weight, if you're not at your best, if you're not down to your marriage or your engagement weight or whatever you want to throw at that, it doesn't matter. You're his wife. He should want to be with you sexually. The problem is him, from the sound of it. And yes, there are real psychological conditions that some men experience when their wives give birth or their significant others give birth. He needs to get to counseling. You're doing the right thing. You're going there. Let that work. Don't try to pre-plan or pre-game or think about what you're going to say to the therapist so much as how you feel. You're not trying to win a battle. You're trying to help your fiance get better so that you can both have a better relationship. Do not include other people at this point. No swingers who know what they're doing would want to be with a couple in crisis. So if they find out what's going on, they won't want to be around anyway. The thing is, it can also really damage you. He sees you, unfortunately, as a mother, like his mother. And that's a good thing on one level, but if he sees you or knows that you're off with another man, everything he knows about you's gone, not just the mother part. You don't want to throw that trauma in here, is my advice. Get to therapy, share your feelings openly, tell him your needs in therapy, before therapy, all these things, and really, really work on the communication thing with everybody, not just your fiance and not just your loved ones that you trust. You have to be open. And I'm not talking about the relationship. So I don't know. What are you thinking there? Anybody? I mean, first off, quality of the recording. She can read. She's definitely a voice talent.
She can read.
No, I mean, I have a problem reading text into a microphone. I don't throw the personality into it. And she totally threw a personality on that.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I loved every second of that. No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I'd like to, try to do devil's advocate here, but I mean, that's really what it boils down to is working on that piece first. Don't make it combative. Get help with that. It's. I wish I had something really profound to say to go with that, but I mean, that's a pretty serious issue. But it's common. It happens. I mean, because that is a big change. I mean,
it's a change in everything.
Yes, exactly. So.
But she deserves a sexual relationship with her fiance, future husband. And he needs to work on that. I think he's already agreed to, the way they phrase it. I don't want to jump in with anything that might contradict what the therapist who's trained to do this and gets paid to do it will say.
Right.
So most of what I'm saying is don't do the swinging thing. Open up your communication with your friends, keep it going with your husband, and then throw it into therapy, but don't pre-plan a strategy to win or anything like that. Just go and work on solving the problem.
Because at the end of the day, there's a family involved now. I know you mentioned those two, but there's a third now, if not, others that we're not aware of.
You're right. And that always changes my advice. When there's a kid involved, I'm like, therapy, counseling. If it's, two people have been together 6 months, that advice is very different often. There's less commitment. There's, when you have a third person, and I think he's going to listen, and he's going to work on this, and a lot of people get through this. So.
Yeah. Get handled sooner rather than later.